looks to be live on Full Value Dan, and looks to be live on King Capital. All right, let's go ahead and get right into it with that being said. All right, Dan, everything
Yes.
good on your end?
All good, all good. Only wish we could have had a thumbnail or title. It just
Or
says "Welcome to
title,
our live
right?
show."
Which is
But
super
test run,
annoying.
guys. Welcome.
Test run. We can go if you wanted to take a second while I'm talking. You can go in and I think edit it on the fly through YouTube.
Right, I can swap that out on my side, so all good there. So we keep
So for the
running.
future, we'll go ahead. For the future, we'll go ahead and prepare that here. I believe we can do that here before we do that. All right. Without further ado, okay, just have to close some pop-ups. Without further ado, thank you everybody for joining us here today for another King Capital live stream. I'm joined here with none other than the GOAT, Full Value Dan, a real veteran in the game. It's a blessing to have him on the show. Real quick, thank you everyone for over 300K subs. We're on the road to 400. So thank you everyone who's tuned into the King Capital channel and hit that subscribe button. You're the best. Be sure you go ahead and hit that like button so that we can push out this alpha to more and more people and we can circulate all the valuable information so we can all make some good money in crypto. Dan, thank you for joining us here today. How are you feeling about the crypto markets?
Little nervous as there's more uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen. A lot of the markets get scared. We've seen some drops, but we've also seen some crazy pumps in the market recently, like with Circle, with Coinbase stock. So there's always opportunity out there.
That's what I love about crypto. There is always opportunity somewhere, even when things are dumping, even when things are uncertain. Anything that's happening in life, in the news, there's probably a meme coin about it. There's probably a new meta going on. Even in the bear markets, we have seasons and metas. So that's what I really want to talk about today. Where are the opportunities? Where's the money flowing? Where should users be looking? And where should people be trading? Right? Dan just mentioned Circle. He mentioned a stock actually. Circle is a stock. As we all know, Circle is the stablecoin issuer for USDC, and they recently went public with an IPO that absolutely rocketed, right? And now we're seeing crypto companies, more and more crypto companies doing IPOs, going public, and having their very own stock. So we saw Circle Rocket, there's MicroStrategy, and we're gonna get into all of that. But Dan, are you playing that game? Are you buying crypto stocks? Did you buy Circle? What do you think
I've
of that?
I've been holding Coinbase stock for maybe like over a year. It's been doing pretty well, but I sold like quite a bit of it like at the bottom like 2 months ago because a friend needed to borrow 10 grand and I was like he didn't accept crypto. He's like I need it like in the bank and I was like well this is the only liquidity I have so I sold it and I was like they're definitely not going to pay me back in coin stock. so
Oh,
so that's quite a hit.
that's a hit. That's a hit. But that goes to show
Yeah.
the type of friend that Full Value Dan is. Always taking care of his people, man.
Hmm.
That's real. So we had Circle go live, but I also want to shine a light on what some of you in the audience may not be paying attention to. Because as I quickly mentioned, there was MicroStrategy. As we know, their whole goal, their whole mission, the way their business works, they buy Bitcoin, they take out leverage against their own stock, against their company, and they buy Bitcoin with it. And they have this sort of constant buy pressure on Bitcoin. It seems like almost every week, sailors dropping $1 billion on Bitcoin from MicroStrategy. They have over 1% of the entire supply, and they're pretty much holding the line for Bitcoin itself. Now, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but other coins in the market are now starting to see companies being formed around them using the MicroStrategy Bitcoin playbook for altcoins, including Hyperliquid, including Tau. And I can actually go ahead and share my screen here and show you a few examples. The reason I'm bringing this to light today of some of the opportunities going on in the market is because pretty much, as we can see, oh, quickly, it's nice to have here the crypto bubbles. We'll get into more of this later, but if I pop over here, you'll see Synaptogenics, I think Tony, right? Tony G. They are trying to raise $100 million in Tau tokens, and will be the only pure play focused exclusively on this leading AI crypto token. So pretty much, um, they're trying to raise $100 million to be essentially a treasury for Tau. And if we go over here, pardon me, it's Tony G that's doing it for hype. So Tony G, they have LGHL secure $600 million facility to launch Hyperliquid Treasury, right? A treasury being formed around the hype token. That's essentially taking the MicroStrategy playbook and using it on Hyperliquid. We're seeing the same thing over on Tau, and we're seeing the same thing for some new altcoins. Now, here's what I find interesting, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I find interesting, basically, is that the companies that are doing this are actually rocketing their stocks.
Yes.
They announced that they're having this reserve or this treasury, and some of them have hit even 10x's on that announcement. So just by simply, you see the announcement, buy the stock, market reacts, and they've been going up. The tokens themselves, like the hype token or like Tau, didn't see crazy reaction to that news, but those stocks are doing it. Never did I think I'd be on here talking about stocks. I don't like stocks. I don't like TradFi. I love crypto.
Right.
Here's some crypto opportunity going on. What are your thoughts on that? And where do you think? How long do you think this opportunity lasts? Are you going to try to play that? What are your thoughts on that?
I think the Circle IPO being undervalued really showcased the demand for traditional finance to get exposure to some crypto assets, even if it's just stable coins. And, Circle is a very, very successful stablecoin company. They make billions of dollars just for holding stablecoins, and 50% of their profits, from what I hear, go directly to Coinbase for supporting USDC and not USDT. So these stablecoins need agreements with these large crypto exchanges to make sure their coin gets used and not a different stablecoin. So, I think Binance has an agreement with Tron and their USDT stablecoin, so that's why they get a lot of usage. And I think we're going to see a lot of that in crypto, where more stablecoins get issued because a lot of people want exposure to that, just like USD1 and World Liberty Finance.
Did you say a 50% kickback to Coinbase?
Yes.
Damn.
I don't know if that's official, but that's what I heard recently on the Chopping Block podcast with Laura Shin, Hasib, and the other VCs.
Wow. So pretty much a 50% kickback.
Yeah.
That's how much they value that Coinbase retail community and all the value that brings. That's insane. Did not know that.
Yeah.
But you just mentioned something big, talking about stable coins. We have the Genius Act that was just put into play. I think the market actually reacted very positively to that. I think that was actually finally some real positive catalyst when it comes to that. Once again, I'm going to share my screen and share a tweet. Let's pop over here. Now we have the Genius Stablecoin Act. Hold up. I may have lost that one. Long story short, though, we have the Genius Stablecoin Act pretty much bringing regulation to stablecoins and to crypto. This could actually go ahead and make it easier for onboarding Web2 users or anyone who's skeptical about crypto. Finally, we have some real rules about stablecoins and things like that. So I thought that was very interesting. What are your thoughts on the Genius Act? That's pretty much one of the big topics of the last little bit.
Yeah, so a couple interesting things happened, especially with the recent news of the Genius Act. Jesse, the head developer of Base, was complaining that, man, I really wish that DoorDash would accept stablecoins. And then the DoorDash founder replied, jump in my DMs. So we might be seeing DoorDash accept stablecoins in the very near future, If they do that and they do well with that, let's say, maybe they have their own stable coin, maybe they're earning interest off that, maybe they're generating yield, some sort of benefit to that, we'll quickly see Uber follow. Just because if there is a door open to make more money for them, they're gonna go through that door. So for those that aren't familiar with the Genius Act, because I really wasn't, it stands for Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoins. It's a stretch. They really stretched it out. They really wanted to use the word genius and stablecoins. Like, all right, we got S for stablecoins. Let's work backwards.
Yes, exactly. You nailed it. To be frank with you, I wasn't too familiar with it either. I've heard it a lot, and I've heard that it's a big thing for crypto. So pretty much the stablecoin regulation and the Genius Act, pretty much the U.S. Senate passed the Genius Act, establishing federal rules for stablecoins. And here's the interesting thing: stablecoins are actually up 22% this year, with the market cap of stablecoins sitting at around $250 billion, over 250, about 252 billion dollars. Is the entire stablecoin market in crypto, showing massive growth for this. We had Circle do their IPO, and now this kind of, I'll say, regulatory clarity, pretty much it's expected to boost mainstream adoption. And like right now, I believe the number is, there's projections on stablecoin settlements. You just had mentioned, what company was that's trying to accept stablecoins?
DoorDash.
DoorDash accepting stablecoins. Circle actually made a deal with, what's that? Shopify, the biggest, pretty much the biggest online merchant protocol for builders, everything like that. People selling things online. If you're not getting it from Amazon, a lot of the time, chances are it's a site built using Shopify. So Shopify is now integrating crypto and USDC in particular into their payment ramps. So I think that was pretty cool. There's a projection that we're supposed to be at $300 billion by the end of the year in daily stablecoin settlements. So the Genius Act is really supposed to accelerate stablecoin adoption and crypto rails in businesses. So
Yeah, so that's very bullish for crypto in general, but not for everything. So we want to find those opportunities. We want to find out how we can earn the most from these new doors opening. Now, chat is active, so we got a couple questions here. We got Gout from Fried Okra. If I use EtherFi, what rewards would you use for best risk reward? I don't really have much in EtherFi right now. I think I'm just holding their NFTs just to earn interest. Stablecoins work great for Shopify. Yep, right, good point there. Tell DoorDash to stop scamming drivers. I wish I had that kind of sway, but like I don't have that kind of influence. I use Uber Eats in Taiwan just because it's like $1 to $2, and that's a very affordable delivery on my side. Let's see, and now we're caught up, so we can
now we're
continue
caught up.
jumping into some of the other points here.
Right. Goot from Fried Okra. I love me some fried okra. Says the Genius Act is CBDC backdoor. Damn. Damn. I like that take, and I didn't really think about that. CBDC backdoor. Could this be a way for them to really go ahead and deliver their CBDCs? Trump said there will never be a CBDC, or the US, the Fed said that. They tried the little Fed now thing, but I
Didn't
love
work,
that
yeah.
take. This could be sort of some smoke and mirrors for what they're really trying to do with CBDC, which would be very dystopian, in my opinion. All right. So someone has, just to quickly just stay active with chat. I have 10K in Fartcoin. Can it be a few million in a few years? Now, I don't have a crystal ball. Neither does Dan. Neither does anyone you see on X. Right? It is a meme coin, and always remember with meme coins, the risk is you're at the top
Highest
of
risk.
the risk scale.
Yeah.
You're at the high end of that risk scale. So don't be surprised if you lose substantial money in meme coins. This is how it goes. But there is huge opportunity there. Farcoin has an incredibly strong community, and I like that bet personally. I like SPX, I like Farcoin, and just those strong brand identities, meme coins. I'm bullish on.
Yeah, let's take a look at the chart real quick. Actually, if you can bring it up. I haven't been following it. I've been following SPX. That's probably been the best meme coin performance in the
SPX is
last few
gas.
months. Just because I
SPX
think
is gas.
it's just there's so much pushing for it on like social media, on TikTok. Let's see. I mean,
Let's go ahead
Fartcoin
and take a
hasn't been
look.
doing that bad since March.
On the day, it's up 2%, hours up 1%, down 17% on the week, and 8% on the month. I like Fartcoin. It's clearly been trading sideways for about a month now.
Hmm.
But yeah, Fartcoin,
Do you think we
strong
could
community.
see?
You
Uh,
want to go?
do you think we can see a micro strategy style Fartcoin fund?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Unless it's by the community or something.
But I feel like that might even get more traction, like more attention to Fartcoin if someone starts doing that. Like, I need everyone's farts. I need everyone to join their farts together so we can do this.
Yeah, yeah. Consolidate the farts.
Yes.
The fart coin treasury, the fart
Yeah.
treasury, the fart treasury, bringing constant buy pressure on fart coin. Now, this is the world of crypto, so don't be surprised if you see some crazy stuff like that go down, especially from the community. Maybe the community gets together and they
Hmm.
deploy the micro strategy playbook to some of these meme coins, fart coin, tick coin, SPX, name it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. Thank you guys for the comments and engaging with us in the chat. I want to go back quickly to sharing my screen and
Hmm.
let's just get a gauge of what's going on in the altcoin space. If we go to Crypto Bubbles, cryptobubbles.net, one of my favorite places to just get a nice glance at what's going on. We're actually having a strong day. Okay, a lot of altcoins we're seeing here up on the day. We got
Hmm.
Arrow up 22%. Arrow has actually been strong during a red week. Arrow's up over
Oh, crazy.
50% on the
That's
week, and this could be actually, is this potentially a sign of an early base season looming? Could we have a base season looming? Because as we know, Aerodrome Finance, the main DEX over on Base, the blockchain made by none other than Coinbase, which is pretty much the strongest centralized exchange out there, definitely when it comes to the US market. And we have Aerodrome Finance showing out on the red week,
I mean, yeah, that's a good
outperforming the
point
entire
because
market.
Coinbase pumped like crazy today. So I think maybe the base ecosystem is feeling some of those effects, those little the boosters from that coin stock pump.
Exactly. As we like to say sometimes in crypto, rising tide lifts all ships. We've had some positive stuff going on with Coinbase, bleeding down all the way to Aerodrome. Could
Hmm.
we see base season coming soon? I hope so, because I do have some base exposure. Hyperliquid, I feel like I see on my timeline every day to some
Hmm.
degree, to something. Um, they have their own altcoin market. They have the Hyperliquid EVM. Hyper EVM, they have their perpetual trading platform. And of course, they have the Hype token itself, showing out to be one of the strongest ecosystems in crypto. So, to all you watching out there, definitely Hyperliquid. The plays underneath could be worth a look. Hyper liquid. Now let's just go ahead and zoom out a little bit on the year. We see virtuals, AI. One thing I've noticed just on this daily pump, minus virtuals, is hiding down there, but you see actually quite a bit of AI plays popping up here. You see some meme stuff,
Hmm.
but um, mostly you're seeing a few AI plays start to be talked about more. Is this a sector that you're still bullish on?
Yes, I think there is a lot of opportunity in AI, and that's just going to continue to gain traction with new narratives, new products launching. I still believe that AI entertainment is going to take over our jobs. Like at one point, it's just going to be AI, and you're not even going to notice because it's going to be that good.
Yeah, 100%.
Hmm.
Very interesting. Take a look at these. comments here. Farcoin, digital natural gas, hot air rises.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
That was pretty good one. Hot air rises. We hope the price goes up.
Yes.
Um, thank you, Goot from Okra. Stablecoin integration on Shopify works great. Which vault would you use? Now, what? I'm not sure what he's pertaining to. Hyperliquid vault or
Per- maybe or he was talking about EtherFi earlier. I think EtherFi has a couple different vaults. I'm just not up to date on that. I haven't been using EtherFi in a while. Like once you get their airdrop, there's like a lot of opportunities in other projects that haven't done their airdrop yet. So you kind of
yeah,
want to stay mobile for
rotate,
finding those opportunities. Yes.
rotate. How is everyone? Thanks for streaming. Thank you, Ambitious Rav, for tuning in. You're very welcome for the stream. We'll try to bring you some of the best alpha and just cover what's going on in
Mhm.
crypto right now. Sanjay, hello, GM to all. Full GM, full value Dan himself. Oh, that's you. Perfect. All right. So moving right along, he's asking any hyper EVM eco coins. Now, I actually have a good answer for this, but it's a little early to reveal it. There's a banger. It's not live yet. I'm going to talk about it probably on the next stream when it's more relevant and show some more stuff. Beyond that, have you seen any Hyperliquid EVM tokens that you're bullish on? I went over to, funny enough, I'm actually gonna share my screen real quick.
Yeah.
I went over to Deck Screener Hyperliquid, and it just seemed like there was like a lot of like meme coins or just obscurity in the Hyper EVM. I'm not sure if I don't know, I haven't been too involved in the Hyper community, but you just see things like a lot of meme coins. Let's go ahead
Yeah.
and
Of
see what's
course.
leading in volume, right? I like to look at volume. Unit Ethereum, but like you got UFART, right? You see pretty much a lot of meme coins.
Hmm, hmm.
UFART leading, like you see UETH, Hypesphere, their memes pretty much was like the biggest thing. Let's see what's leading in market cap. UFART is up there. You see Per, which is supposed to be like their main mascot. Per for hyper. I think it's cat theme. There's Buddy. I've been seeing hype on, and Joff. So pretty much they're leading alts on this hyper EVM. A lot of them have been meme coins and just obscure stuff. So not a whole bunch of, I would say,
High
utility
quality
stuff for tech
products yet.
or quality products.
Yeah, I
But
haven't
yeah,
been
how's
too.
your experience been on there?
I don't use it enough, but I have heard of a lot of projects building there. I have heard rumors of a season 2 airdrop that people have been farming, and I do not have nearly enough exposure there. So I gotta catch up. Maybe next week, spend a day, maybe an hour or two on stream where we just fully dive in, just explore different products, maybe
I
use
like
it
that.
together with other people, so we can all have that experience of trying to figure out how to get started in the ecosystem when you have no idea what to do there.
I think that's a great idea for streaming the video.
Hmm.
Um, I think we should do that for Hyperliquid for sure, and for all those out there, also for Sui. I'm sure you've probably done something like that for Sui over on your channel.
Oh
But
yeah,
if you
we
want to come in
definitely
here,
there's definitely opportunities there. I'm more familiar with that, so that's going to be easier to know where to get started. I have no idea where to get started with Hyperliquid. I don't have any funds there, so starting completely from scratch, bridging, and then figuring everything out.
very nice, very nice. Makes sense. So guys, stay tuned for that. So what Onchain says also is there's a lot of airdrops over on Hyperliquid. There's some coins coming out soon. There is, he mentions Hyperswap, Liminal, Unit, etc. So this is good. Just took a quick screenshot of that. Maybe we can do a deeper
Yes.
dive of that when we do our Hyperliquid dedicated stream. So more on Hyperliquid later. I think that's pretty much cool. So he also said, "Is the virtuals flywheel dying?"
I think so. Just because,
Mm,
everything is more hype than substance, but I think they're so good at, capturing mindshare, at capturing like new trends and just reinventing themselves that they're not going to let themselves die. They're going to keep innovating, they're going to keep changing things up because You know, they started uh, as just chatbots. They really started off just as chatbots that were these personalities of these attractive uh, fictional women, and then it really evolved into AI, and then into different AI products and different DeFi, decentralized finance AI, and I think they're going to continue innovating. So I wouldn't count them out. I'd say I wouldn't bet against them. If anything, I'd bet against like the smaller beta plays that are trying to catch up to what they've been doing. So I'd still be on the lookout for what they're doing and then what's potentially next.
Beautiful, beautiful. Um, and now also, pretty much virtuals. As I mentioned a few streams ago, I got out of virtuals. Pretty much had round trip from my experience where I got in, and I never looked back. I just thought that, that AI agent at the time was a little bit overstretched and kind of became buzzwordy. Got very saturated quick during that season. Virtuals first mover and pretty much one of the strongest virtuals. Eliza, I'll say Cookie, a few of those AI agent projects worth looking at, and there's some other ones underneath. Which at this point, the AI agent game, I feel like it's tough to choose the winners. A lot of them are doing a lot of the same things. The wallets that trade for you, the chat bots, all these different ones. So I don't mind virtuals as a play, as the alpha play per se.
Yeah.
The original one, the one that has the most amount of mind share. So as far as AI agents goes, I still like virtuals, but it's where do they go from here? I guess
Right.
what do they add on to onboard more users, et cetera, et cetera.
Right, and some
But
of their
yeah,
like new things have become kind of restrictive, where it doesn't have that same flexibility. Where jumping into these new opportunities just aren't available unless you're staking, unless you're willing to take um, some losses. So I wouldn't bet on them, but I wouldn't bet against them.
fair say, fair say. He's asking real quick. I can share this real quick. He said his feed has become trash. Why? Because of thoughts on Kaido. Thoughts on
Yeah,
Kaido. Everyone's yapping, yap, yap, yap. And Kaido and the Info 5 thing. Do you think that has become a little bit overstretched?
honestly, I lost a lot of money early on betting against Kaito, like way too much betting against them because they were giving out airdrops that, you didn't really need the token, but I guess people got a lot of value out of it. I just didn't really see the purpose of these rewards just going out to people, and that people weren't loyal. They're going to talk about anything to get rewards. They're going to farm it. They're not going to like add in. They're not going to invest in it. So that's what I saw, and I bet against it way too early, and I took some losses. So I learned my lesson. I was like, they're really good at generating that hype. But I think people are so much, they're very supportive of Kaido because they get rewards for it. And that's why your feed has become trash, because people are willing to talk about anything to get those rewards, and you have to talk either neutrally or positively. It can't be negatively. I do not have any yaps. I think I was too negative, so I think I got blacklisted.
Tough, tough, tough.
Mhm.
I had more yaps. I got the season 1 airdrop, but then from there, I guess I just really wasn't that active um, on their system, on their ecosystem, or yapping about the projects that was on there. But
Mhm.
I thought that was pretty interesting. Why is sweet dumping? Let's go ahead and check out this sweet
Yeah.
chart.
I mean, it's not that bad. Down 26% in the last month. A lot of alts have suffered from that. But yeah, the last month has been like a pretty steady
This is the moderate
decline.
sweet on it.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, you don't need to use deck screener. I see they're up 254 on the year.
Down 15% on the week, and today was the
27 of the
sideways
month.
day.
I think it's not that bad. I wouldn't give up on Sui yet. I know they're still cooking up things, that they continue to innovate, and that they continue to have these big partnerships. So I'm not really worried too much about the price. I like it when the price goes up, but I got to find ways to buy more Sui at this point.
To be honest with you, like SWI, I think this is relatively strong. Like, go ahead and take a look at Arbitrum. I guess is down also 22% on the month.
Hmm.
Another major blockchain, another major ecosystem. Let's take a look at
Yeah.
Immutable X, down 37% on the month, down 72% on the year. Say 18% on the month. It's the same case. Same thing
So
here
it's not
with
too unusual.
Polygon. It's not unusual at all.
Hmm.
And I mean, this is crypto. Like, the more seasoned you become in crypto, to be honest, 30% swings you don't really flinch at. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say like, oh no, like dump, dump. Um, I'm not flinching at that. I guess if you see negative 80%, definitely of course there's something wrong.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah. What was it?
at,
Koge and ZKJ?
yeah, exactly, right. But the thing is, for given all things considered, we're in the middle of a war going on over in Iran and Israel. We have all these things going on, uncertainty in the macroeconomics. I say SWI has done quite well to hold up uh, despite market conditions from just like macro stuff, and everything that they're building. I think is really fire. I think it's really gas. So I'm not worried about SWI personally. Speaking
Hmm.
of blockchains and ecosystems, I'm not sure if you've been following the efforts for Solana ETF and all the developments going on
Mm-mm.
around that. So pretty much Solana ETF issuers are preparing to submit amended S1 forms, pretty much signaling progress towards potential approval for an official Solana ETF, a Solana based a Solana based ETF. So pretty much useless token gained traction with $105 million market cap, while Solana's ecosystem sees increased interest among VR gaming tokens. There's different things happening underneath Solana, and they are trying to go ahead and drop an ETF. You think that's something that has been bullish? What do you think ETFs do for a token? We saw of course, we have the Bitcoin, we have the Ethereum ETF going on right now. I say Bitcoin has performed very well over since then. Ethereum has lagged a little bit. Could this be a big catalyst for Solana?
It could be. It's just another opportunity for traditional finance to jump into crypto assets. When the Ethereum ETF launched, there were a lot of expectations and kind of nothing happened. But as of recently, I heard there have been significantly more inflows into that ETF. I think there was also a couple other ETFs that were highly anticipated that just didn't see the same kind of traction once it launched. Even with Bitcoin, when the Bitcoin ETF launched, it didn't really move the price of Bitcoin. I think it even went down a little bit just because the hype
Yeah.
died down. So I wouldn't bet everything on an ETF announcement, but if we are moving towards a positive bull market, then traditional finance is going to jump in. That's going to be the moment for you to have crypto and to be holding. But there's still no
Exactly.
guarantee that's going to happen because there's a lot of uncertainty because someone started a war.
That is true. That is true. And what's good is we're still seeing actually positive inflows for the Bitcoin ETFs. Matter of fact, this week alone, there was actually $1.3 billion in ETF inflows. And of course, BlackRock themselves, they have their iShares Bitcoin ETF. They led the charge with $370 million in a single day of
Yeah.
Bitcoin ETF inflow. So I think that's very strong for Bitcoin and just for
Mhm.
the markets overall. And Bitcoin is reacting very positively to that. As you mentioned, lots of TradFi making plays in crypto, trying to get involved. You just mentioned DoorDash. We got Shopify. We got ETS. We got TradFi. We got companies being built to become treasuries for altcoins. Just a lot of activity. We got IPOs. You got Circle IPO. This is Wall Street. These are suits. These are old money getting involved in crypto. They see the opportunity. They see what's bubbling, and they're trying to get involved. The play for a lot of these companies that are making treasuries to buy up a lot of these cryptos is they'll take a dying company, they'll borrow leverage against their assets, their balance sheets, they'll leverage their balance sheets, and they will use that to buy the cryptos that they're focusing on, just like what we saw with Tau, just like what we're seeing with Hyperliquid. Two companies now are doing that, and those company stocks have rocketed since making this initiative. Pretty much what they'll do is companies that are dying out, revenues are weak, they'll go into that company. They still have some, capital in house. They'll leverage their balance sheets and do this. So that just goes to show more and more TradFi companies, potentially dying TradFi companies, even strong ones as big as BlackRock, are trying to get their hands in crypto to one degree or another. And I think that's just really bullish for
Right.
sort of like the mid to long term outlook of it. So, how do you
So
think?
I
Yeah, go on.
actually have something that I think is going to be very bullish, because if we want to have a bull season, we need retail into crypto. And a lot of retail got into crypto in the previous cycle because of Robinhood, because of Doge, because of cryptocurrencies that they can easily trade in just a few clicks in apps that they are familiar with. So Robinhood is recently announced that they are doing this promotion to catch a token. Now, to catch a token is Robinhood unveiling their latest plans for next generation crypto products at a keynote in Cannes, France. This is running from June 17 to July 7. So it just started today, and US customers depositing cash during this period can enter a sweepstakes to win one of 5 Bitcoins. So if you enter money, get into these crypto products, there will be 5 winners. Each winner gets 1 Bitcoin. So this could be
Damn,
massive, because that's
that is
over a
very
hundred
big.
thousand dollars for using their product. So I think Robinhood is going to be the catalyst of starting this bull market, of getting regular people into investing into crypto.
Now, Robinhood is pretty much, they have so much market share when it comes to retail, right? And
Hmm.
at
Hmm.
least just the retail investing community as far as stocks, right? As far as stocks go. So, if we can tap into that Robinhood user base
Hmm.
from a crypto standpoint, that could be massive for inflows, just regular retail inflows, classic. That's how the markets used to pump back in the day, was retail getting in. Now we're seeing TradFi get in. So I'm very curious to see how this altcoin season, if we do have like a true altcoin season, how that plays out with all of these new players and potential catalysts. So
Hmm.
definitely, I think it's something interesting. Do you use Robinhood?
I don't, but I've used it before. It is a fantastic experience. It's so easy to use. It feels like a game. So I think that's why people use it. It's not as intimidating or unintuitive as something like Charles Schwab, as um, these other more
Fidelity.
traditional finance platforms, because they're very confusing.
Yeah. Very safe, very safe. So yeah, UX, UI, always a key thing when we're
Hmm.
talking about retail. All right, now, I mean, when we talk alt season, in my opinion, we can't talk alt season without taking a look at Ethereum. So, Ethereum, let's go ahead and see how it's doing right now. Let me share my screen again, real quick. Ethereum, in my opinion, the godfather of altcoins, the original altcoin. Ethereum has had a hard time this year. I know, we all know that. But Ethereum is still a very important key piece, in my opinion, to altcoin season really kicking off. Because if the original altcoin itself isn't doing well, how can we really expect the rest of the altcoins to? We're down 27% on the year, but we've been trading sideways for the last month, only down 1% on the month. So Ethereum, as you can see over here, has been trading very sideways, and we need, in my opinion, we need Ethereum to do well. We need Ethereum to pump hard for us to have a full-fledged alt season. Are you bullish? Are you bearish on Ethereum? What's your prediction over the next few months?
These global market conditions are wild to predict. Tariffs, no tariffs, like potential war, maybe not. So it's really hard to predict anything, but the momentum is still there. We are still on an uptrend overall if we zoom out. I
Yeah.
think that can happen this summer. I'm hoping for it, and that's all I can say. Like we all just make predictions.
When in doubt, zoom out, right?
Hmm.
When in doubt, zoom out. All right. So, Ethereum, hopefully we see a pump. I think that's going to be one of the catalysts for that. Another very popular retail token is XRP, and they are gaining traction because they've just talked about their cross-border payments with Ripple's on-demand liquidity, ODL, and an upcoming EVM-compatible sidechain that XRP is coming out with to boost its utility. Despite bearish sentiments and resistance at around $2.20, analysts see potential for XRP to touch $4 after a potential breakout now that they've went ahead and announced these new utilities. I'm not in XRP. I have no exposure there. I'm not interested in a lot of these uh, like ADA, XRP. I'm not
Yeah.
interested in those coins, to be honest with you. But what do you think about this? Is that bullish for the XRP army?
It is bullish. It is bullish. There is an opportunity there. I think just on the news side of things, I don't think there is going to be a lot of traction in their ecosystem just because it's hard to build that up, especially with all the competing chains.
It's a
But
lot.
uh, so I have a TikTok account that isn't logged in. It's just like, all right, it just shows me some finance stuff. I don't really engage with anything. And I started watching all the trash crypto content on there where they have the most generic picks that I think they just used AI to come up with a list, and then they have, Bitcoin $120,000, Ethereum $5,000, XRP $12,000. Like, hold on, your prediction is way too crazy here,
It's
where
ridiculous.
it's just there's a lot of nonsense there. I think I'm gonna make fun of everyone there. I'm just gonna light them up just because.
You should. You can tell it's not crypto native people, right? When
Yeah.
you see these numbers, it's like, oh, okay, XRP is gonna flip. It's gonna flip Bitcoin times 100,000.
Yeah,
Like, just
yeah.
ridiculous.
I was like, well, there's not enough money on Earth to make that happen, like just
Exactly.
mathematically.
And you see these things, they do that because that's what the community wants to hear, is what they
Yeah.
react to, especially the noobs that are coming in from TradFi, haven't done a ton of research. They have
Hmm.
that euphoria, that moon boy mentality, and they see, oh, we're going to 12,000. Like, oh, grandma, like, if we buy 7 of these, we're going to be a billionaire by 2029, all these different things. And,
Right.
it's a little bit, I don't want to use the word sad, but it's just, it's a little bit
It's
naive, right?
it's
Once you
naive,
learn,
it's uninformed, because
exactly.
they see the price of like $2, like, well, Bitcoin used to be $2 and now it's a hundred
Yeah.
thousand something. So
And
like, oh, XRP is $2. Maybe it can do the same thing regardless of market cap.
see that reminds me of the Pi Army. Um, the
They're
That
still
reminds me a
strong.
lot of, yeah. They're still very strong. The Pi Army believes that Pi times however much is going to be the price of Pi. I thought that was pretty funny. All right. So meme coins are actually getting a bid, as we saw there on the crypto bubbles. Meme coins are catching a bid. Do you have a favorite meme coin?
Honestly, I've been following Nonstop Murad on TikTok. He is good at scaring people into buying SPX. So I have a small SPX position just because like I believe
Got
in
you.
him pumping this, like he's making daily videos grinding just trying to get people to buy SPX.
Wow.
And we
And you
see
can
the
see,
results. It's pretty good.
look at that, right? It's the strongest performing, top 3 strongest performing coin of
Mhm.
the year. When we look at these bubbles right
I've
here.
never heard of AB. I don't know what that one is.
Me either. Let's go ahead and click in to see if we can get some more information here. AB, not sure what that even stands for, but yeah, it looks
Oh
like it's doing
shit.
really well. It's been trading since 2019.
And then they pumped
It's
it last month.
They
Or no,
pumped it
earlier this
last
year.
month. It's almost at $1 billion market cap,
Yeah.
and they've been running apparently strong for over the last 6 years. I see followed by a few people I trust, Virtual Bacon. So it's actually a DAO. AB DAO is a decentralized ecosystem driving blockchain innovation, asset tokenization, and philanthropy social impact with the AB Foundation. When I see asset tokenization, it makes me think of RWA, and they're also a DAO, so governed by the holders themselves and the community. Interesting. We can take a closer look. Let's hit their link tree, see if we can get onto their website.
I mean, it's moving like a meme coin because DAOs normally don't have this kind of demand.
Not usually. Looks like they have over $1 billion FDV because it says 1,000 million. So
Yeah.
that's I guess yeah, over a billion. I say 1.5 billion FDV. I guess they need to fix their tracker. That's a lot of money. For a lot of money, they can I think have a cleaner a cleaner
Yeah.
tracker. But interesting. They're listed on Binance Alpha, BitGet, HTX, Weeks. A lot of these pretty
Oh,
strong centralized
yeah.
exchanges.
But normally when you see something like listed exchange, like that means they have nothing to put on their website. That means they have no no
That's all
substance.
they have.
That's all they have. I don't trust this. I feel like
That's
this
all
is
they
a
have.
very sketchy move. Like I wouldn't touch this coin.
I'm
I would
scrolling up and
fade this
down the
opportunity.
entire. Yeah, I'm scrolling up and down the entire website, and
So
just one
what's this
scroll.
coin? Oh, well, we're listed on these exchanges. All right, so what's the coin do? Well, we're listed on these exchanges.
We're on these exchanges, man.
Yeah.
They have an ecosystem fund. Okay, there's a little bit more info here. Interesting, but it seems obscure, and I'm just like Dan said. I also don't trust it. But
Hmm.
one of the strongest performing coins on the year. So if you guys want to take a closer look at that, you are more than welcome to. But yeah, just off first glance, I would be. I honestly, I would have been surprised to see these numbers. Off first glance, I was bearish on AB. I just think their website could be nicer. I
I
just
think
was
it's
turned
probably a
off as soon as I
cabal
saw
play.
that thousand. I was turned off as soon as I saw the 1,000 million in the tracker. I
Yeah,
just feel like those little details you can go ahead and take care of. Now TRX, Tron, Justin Sun,
it's steady,
he
man.
is also trying to do a similar initiative as to what we're seeing with some of these tokens to onboard TradFi, trying to go public with the TRX token and
Hmm.
with Tron, trying to go public, trying to get on the I guess stock market. I'm not sure if they're exactly doing an ETF or how they're playing that, but Justin Sun is trying to go public with Tron. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's a good move. I feel like if he's making that move, he knows that there's opportunity there. He, I think that he bought a couple $1 million worth of Trump coin. He was at the dinners. I think he's made the arrangements already to have a successful launch where he can extract even more value from everything he's built up. So I wouldn't bet against him.
Yes, as we know, Justin Sun, Tron, he's one of the super villains of crypto. He has all sorts of plays. He's one of the original. They said he just trades with himself on Tron, and he actually had Tron actually has one of the top TVLs in all crypto. I believe they're top five, and he makes some interesting moves. Some might call it shady, some might have different opinions, but one thing's for sure, he's done a good job of keeping Tron afloat. And we
Yeah.
even had a mini Tron meme season go on with things like Sundog and even Sun Pump, his pump fund competitor. So I
Hmm.
think that was kind of interesting, and I want to see what he does with that. To be honest, I'm actually bullish on him as a person. I would
Yeah,
say, and
like
the moves that he
he
makes on
doesn't
Tron.
miss.
He doesn't really miss, and
Yeah,
he
you're
kind of
not
knows
proud of
it.
what he did, but he did it.
Yeah, you're not proud of what he did, but he did it. Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. So yeah, there's that. Um, Tron, Justin Sun. One thing I found interesting in the wake of Pump Funds token going live in the crypto market, the account got suspended and the founder's account got suspended. It's back online now on
Hmm.
Twitter. Their accounts got suspended, and within 7 days or less now, we should be seeing the Pump token hit the markets. Do you think that was coincidental timing? Was this an orchestrated thing?
I think it was coincidental because they got a lot of other big accounts too that were in the, coin launch or early launch system like GMGN and a couple other big accounts. So I think it was a
That's true.
coincidence, but I think it's going to help them out anyway with getting more attention for their upcoming launch.
Fair say, fair say. Exactly. If anything, it just brings more attention. Um, oh, shout out to On Chain here because he says, notice the PFP, Barra Ovario. I'm not sure what Ovario is,
Maybe that's
but
another
yes,
collection.
maybe that's another collection. This is a steady Teddy that I have. You know, Barachain has not had an easy time, I would say, but I'm actually quite bullish on the steady teddies. We actually got an airdrop today. We got the grind token to so salute to my fellow steady teddy holders. Just for holding your steady teddy, you get invited into some communities, you get some airdrops, and we're getting the grind token, and a few people seem to be hyped on that. So we'll see what goes on with that. I just like the cult vibes and the community vibes. Bear Chain as the chain has had a tough time. I'm not gonna shill it, but clearly I still have some exposure there because I do have my Steady Teddy, a Bear Chain ecosystem project, and I have met Smokey, the bear, who is the founder of Bear Chain. I like what he's doing. I like his mentality towards crypto and his sort of ethos for Bear Chain. So to see a comeback there, I wouldn't be totally surprised, and I'm still keeping my toes dipped in that ecosystem to some degree.
Nice work, nice work. Yeah, I remember when you bought it. I was like, oh, maybe I should have got one too. You got an airdrop so quick. It was great timing.
This is really good
I
timing,
feel
and I
like Josh always has
also
like good inside information, but he can't say anything. It's like just follow.
yeah. So thank you for that. Yeah, that's some good tips right there. But yeah, I guess less than 2 weeks. I think probably just about a week now. I've had my Steady Teddy, and I already got an airdrop, which is nice. And I bought the bottom. Apparently, we had like a nice I think like a 55 to 70% pump since I bought. So thank you.
Dang.
Appreciate that. Got a few teddies, and what I like to do if I'm bullish on something, I get a teddy. I got a teddy on another wallet just in case. I got a teddy on another one. So the airdrop that we're getting,
Whoa, whoa,
I get
whoa!
a
You
times
didn't say
three.
all this. You didn't say all this.
Yeah. I don't like to say everything. But I have my PFP. I posted that I got a new PFP.
Yeah.
But I like the teddies. The reason I had to get 3 teddies instead of just 1 teddy is because I remember that pain I felt when I could have minted a Bong Bear NFT, which was the original Bear Chain NFT that was back on Ethereum. Could have gotten it for maybe around 30, 40 bucks. They ended up pumping to over $300,000 each. And I missed, and it was painful. So the kind of narrative around Steady Teddies is that it feels like the second coming of the Bears. I know it's not going to be as good as Bomb Bears, but I'm like, let me just buy a Steady Teddy. I've already missed Bear Chain so many times in so many ways. Let me go ahead and get some exposure there. So that's my story. That's the story behind my PFP. Thank you for pointing that out on Change. What are your thoughts on Bear Chain? You may not have the same thing, but what do you think?
I don't. Well, I don't have enough exposure to it where it's not in my feed. Like I don't know what the community still thinks about it. I don't see like what's the trending applications. What are people doing there? Where are the opportunities? Because if you're on crypto Twitter, your feed really dictates what your thoughts are. And if you don't have the right
Well
feed
said,
for
sir.
another chain, then you don't see anything.
That's true. Totally true. Totally true. Yeah, because right, X is trying to give you more of what you want, right?
Yeah.
Give you more of what you're already into. So the algorithm playing into that. But yeah,
Yeah, like I see
Bear
way
Chain
too
is
much Sui stuff, so that's why like okay, I know what's going on in
yeah.
Sui.
You know what's going on in Sui. But yeah, that's good. And that's why it's good to be a part of a community such as Off-Brand Crypto, where you have different members from different ecosystems and communities getting different information. We come together, we share notes, we share alpha, and that just gives us more of an edge in the markets than a regular user. Or if I was trying to go it alone, I might have some bear chain information, I might have some Solana information, and then Dan is coming with some really valuable Sui information or some Hyperliquid stuff, and we can assess different things that we're seeing in the markets, make plays together, and that just gives us a better crypto experience, and we cover more. So I invite everyone in the audience, join us over in Off-Brand Crypto. You can speak with us directly, share alpha, chop it up, and see what we're doing.
Absolutely. Links on our profiles. You'll find links.
Yeah, yeah, we'll find links. I'll throw one in the description.
Yeah.
It won't be there right now, but after the stream is over, I'll be sure I add it in there if you want to hop on and
But
chat
with
with
that,
us.
I gotta get going. I mean, you feel free to continue. Finish out this news, but I gotta take care of some things.
All right, no problem at all. No problem at all. Thank you so much, Dan, for joining us here today. I'm actually going to wrap up the whole stream
Okay.
in that case. Once again, thank you everyone out there for 300 subs. Really appreciate it. We're on the way to 400. Doing my best to bring more crypto alpha
Help them
And
out.
we'll
Like
catch
the
you on the next
video.
one.
Start subbing.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dan, for joining us today. And thank you for having me on the channel.
Yes. All right. Thanks for everyone being here. Join us, and we'll look forward to the next one this weekend.
All right. Until next time. Take care.
All right.